What's up, y'all? Hey, child. Guess who ain't feel like doing her hair today? Me. What's up, y'all? What's up? Hello, hello, hello. Y'all get set up on Instagram per usual. As always, I gotta go set up for Instagram. I'm a little bit late. Please know that just because I was late today doesn't mean that's indicative of how I'm going to be for the rest of the week. We're just adjusting to this new schedule. Child is not bigger than my damn head. I need to learn other ways to wrap a scarf, but as of right now, this is all I got. We're either gonna do the butt at the front of the head or the back. You know what I'm saying? It's either gonna be at the front or the back. But today it's at the front because my hair wasn't done and it matches my shirt. So got my shirt. Happy Black History Month. It is still happening. It's still going. Welcome in, and I'm going to go ahead and get set up over here on Instagram. We do not want the auto lock on. Hello, hello. Welcome in. Let's see. Getting set up on Instagram. Getting set up on, no, Instagram. And we're going to use a filter on Instagram. And I have no shame in saying that. Welcome, y'all. Welcome in. Welcome in. Oh, child. Cool. Mm-mm. Welcome in. Welcome in. Mm-mm. Ooh. This looks cute today for Instagram, though. Getting set up on Instagram. We're live on Instagram. We're live over here on Facebook. Welcome in, y'all. Welcome in. Um, Welcome in. As you can see, I did not feel like doing my hair today, so we have this situation going on. That's the only way I know how to wrap a scarf. So, unless you can teach me another way, this is how I'm going to be doing this. Welcome in. Welcome in. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. We are going into the next chapter of the Four Agreements today. We're going into the next chapter of the Four Agreements today. The last two episodes are the first and second time we read them. So if you missed the first and second time we read them, just look at the last two episodes on whatever platform you're watching. Yay! Welcome in. I'll give it just another moment and then I will go ahead and get started. If you are watching, please feel free to like, share, and all those things, and all of the things and such. Welcome in. Welcome in. So, funny story. At the beginning of the show, I was telling y'all where I got this from. And I was saying that I hadn't gotten my t-shirt yet, and I was still waiting on a t-shirt. Well, between me promoting this with the promo code and everything and getting the t-shirt, found out that the company that I bought it from was fraudulent. And it was actually a they were posing as a black woman that owned it, and then it ended up being a white dude. So I will no longer name the company or promote them. However, the shirt's still cute. And it says Black Lives Matter. So you can see. They can see it over here on Instagram. You can't really see it over here on Facebook. See, it says Black Lives Matter. It's beautiful. I love the color. I love the way it looks and everything like that. But can't promote who made it because they were liars, scammers. They love robbery and fraud. So we are 5 minutes in, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Happy Monday, y'all. I hope y'all had an incredible weekend. I hope y'all had a lovely, lovely, lovely weekend. Welcome to Reading with Miss Taylor Said. I am Taylor, also known as Miss Taylor Said. I started the show on November 30th, 2020, in an effort to complete some goals that I have for myself. One of those goals being to actually read the books that I own. I have accumulated a lot of books over the years. I've started a lot of books, have not started a lot of books that I've purchased, and I have not completed most of them. So I actually want to read the books that I own, and this is a great way for me to do that, which leads me to my second goal. My second goal is to get more comfortable with reading aloud in front of an audience. The things that I want to do with my life and my career are going to lead me to doing things like reading off of a teleprompter and just giving speeches and reading aloud in front of audiences. So I want to go ahead and get comfortable with that now, seeing as I haven't done that since like college. And that leads me to my third goal, which is to get more comfortable with public speaking. Again, I have not done public speaking since college, and I am turning 30 this year. So it's been a good long while since I've done some public speaking. So I'm wanting to get more comfortable with public speaking. And 2020 offered us a way, to do that through the virtual platform. You know, is more people are paying attention to things that are happening online than they were before, just because we have limited access to what we can and can't do. So thankfully, I'm able to do my show and do this. So welcome to Reading with Miss Taylor Said. Thank you guys for joining me today. We are continuing the Four Agreements. The Four Agreements is a wonderful, wonderful text. That bookmark is not an official bookmark. It was a little thing. It's a lovely text. If you missed the first couple of episodes, you can just of this book. The last two episodes, the last three episodes actually. Last three. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of last week, we were reading this. So we're going to move on to the next agreement because with this book, he talks about how he started by talking about how we were conditioned to believe the things that we believe. And then he went into the first agreement, which was to be impeccable with your word and understanding what your words mean. Welcome in. We're reading Four Agreements. Understanding what your words mean, the power that they hold, understanding the agreements that you make. Thank you. Understanding the agreements that you make whenever you choose the words that you use, things like that. Again, if you missed it, just look at the last few episodes from last week and you'll be able to get all caught up because it is definitely, definitely worth listening to. The next agreement, which is chapter 3, don't take anything personally. I've listened to this book a couple of times on Audible, so this one is actually my favorite chapter. So don't take anything personally. The next three agreements are really born from the first agreement. The second agreement is don't take anything personally. Whatever happens around you, don't take it personally. Using an earlier example, if I see you on the street and I say, hey, you are stupid, without knowing you, it's not about you, it's about me. If you take it personally, then perhaps you believe you are stupid. Maybe you think to yourself, how does he know? Is he clairvoyant, or can everyone see how stupid I am? You take it personally because you agree with whatever was said. As soon as you agree, the poison goes through you and you are trapped in the dream of hell. What causes you to be trapped is what we call personal importance. Personal importance, or taking things personally, is the maximum expression of selfishness because we make the assumption that everything is about me. Woo! Personal importance, let's say that one more time. Personal importance, or taking things personally, is the maximum expression of selfishness because we make the assumption that everything is about me. During the period of our education or our domestication, we learn to take everything personally. We think we are responsible for everything. Me, always me. Nothing other people do is because of you. It is because of themselves. All people live in their own dream, in their own mind. They are in a completely different world from the world we live in. When we take something personally, we make the assumption that they know what is in our world, and we try to impose our world onto their world. Even when a situation seems so personal, even if others insult you directly, okay, it has nothing to do with you. What they say, what they do, and the opinions they give are according to the agreements they have in their own minds. Their point of view comes from all the programming they received during domestication. Now, a good, easy way for me to get into this word about the fact that their point of view, everyone else's point of view, and the things that they project onto you comes from all the programming they received during their domestication. Think about the way we dress. Think about the way we dress, especially women, especially people that identify as women, right? And this applies to non-binary bodies as well. If they are bodies that society perceives as female or feminine, this applies. Okay? When we think about how those bodies are dressed, when we think about how those bodies are shaped, when we think about how those bodies are covered or not covered, our measurement of if they're doing enough or not enough is based on how we were raised. Yes, femme presenting people. Thank you for the terminology, Shannon. Um, our oh, sorry, our perception of how they're supposed to look or not supposed to look is based on how we were raised and based on the programming that we received throughout our upbringing and the domestication we received throughout our upbringing about what femme presenting bodies are supposed to look like and how they're supposed to be covered and how modestly they should or shouldn't be dressed, right? So their point of view comes from all the programming they received during domestication. Anything that somebody says about you, any opinion that somebody forms about you came from their own idea of how you're supposed to be. It came from their own idea, how whether it's something that they created as they became adults, whether it's how they were raised. What people say about you came from their own idea of what they think you should be, and that has nothing to do with you. So don't take it personally. If someone gives you an opinion and says, "Hey, you look fat," don't take it personally, because the truth is this person is dealing with his or her own feelings, beliefs, and opinions. That person tried to send poison to you, and if you take it personally, then you take the poison and it becomes yours. Taking things personally makes you easy prey for those predators, the black magicians. They can hook you easily with one little opinion and feed you whatever poison they want, and because you take it personally, you eat it up. You eat all their emotional garbage, and now it becomes your garbage. But if you do not take it personally, you are immune in the middle of hell. In the middle of hell. Immunity to poison in the middle of hell is the gift of this agreement. When you take things personally, then you feel offended. And your reaction is to defend your beliefs and create conflicts. You make something big out of something so little because you have the need to be right and make everybody else wrong. You also try hard to be right by giving them your own opinions. In the same way, whatever you feel and do is just a projection of your own personal dream. Ooh. Because that's exactly, because even in what I'm doing that's perceived as good, my mission and my goal to help people learn how to be themselves, and love being themselves and appreciate and embrace being themselves, being the youest you could possibly be. That's all I ever be wanting to do, right? Is say some stuff to help people be the youest you could possibly be. That is my idea, my vision, my perception of what the world needs. Even in that, even in it being perceived as good, that's me. I am doing that. My goal is to help other people do that because I felt like I wasn't able to be myself for most of my life. And when I see things that resemble things I've experienced, things I've said, maybe emotions I may have felt that I think I'm perceiving in someone else, and something that we just see across the board is just a lot of people not being themselves naturally, then I am projecting my own dream onto someone else. But imagine if that's a bad if what you decide to project is bad and harmful. Even in my own, even every single person that does something, they're doing it because their world, in their dream, in their world, they perceive it as something that's necessary. Anyway, so you try hard to be right by giving them your own opinions. In the same way, whatever you feel and do is just a projection of your own personal dream. I just need to keep reading and stop stopping. Is a projection of your own personal dream, a reflection of your own agreements. What you say, what you do, and the opinions you have are according to the agreements you have made. And these opinions have nothing to do with me. It is not important to me what you think about me, and I don't take what you think personally. I feel like y'all could go ahead and write this down and use it as an affirmation. Let's create an affirmation from this. It is not important to me what others think about me, and I do not take what others think personally. Go ahead and write that one down. It is not important to me what others think about me, and I do not take what others think personally. I don't take it personally when people say, Miguel, you are the best. And I also don't take it personally when they say, Miguel, you are the worst. I know that when you are happy, you will tell me, Miguel, you are such an angel. But when you are mad at me, you will say, oh, Miguel, you are such a devil. You are so disgusting. How can you say those things? Either way, it does not affect me because I know what I am. I don't have the need to be accepted. I don't have the need to have someone tell me, Miguel, you are doing so good. Or how dare you do that? Okay. Welcome in. We are reading the 4 agreements if you're just now joining us. Okay, I have some comments over here on Instagram, so I'm going to stop for a second while I got a paragraph break. Let's see. Shannon said, then people give respect based on how much or how little you're wearing. Yes, whenever we were talking about the clothing. I learned a long time ago not to take things personally. Life just happens. Yeah, exactly. Welcome in, friend. We're reading 4 agreements. Okay. So let's see. I don't have the need to have someone tell me, Miguel, you're doing so good, or how dare you do that? No, I don't take it personally. Whatever you think, whatever. Oh, also, let me give a shout out to my friend Asia because she actually sent me this book. We were going to read it together, and I jumped the gun and started reading it on the show. So sorry, friend, but ain't nobody want to hear about my Black History books. So we gonna read this instead because we like books that take us on a journey. It seems like reading what Miss Taylor said is about the journey and about the growth that we have in the books that we read. So we're going to go with the books that help us grow. All right. No, I don't take it personally. Whatever you think, whatever you feel, I know is your problem and not my problem. It is the way you see the world. It is nothing personal because you are dealing with yourself, not with me. Others are going to have their own opinion according to their belief system. So nothing they think about me is really about me, but it is about them. You may even tell me, Miguel, what you're saying is hurting me, but it is not what I'm saying that's hurting you. It is that you have wounds. Woo! It is that you have wounds that I touch by what I have said. Ooh, he said, it is not what I'm saying that's hurting you. It is that you have wounds that I touch by what I have said. I know that sometimes for me, I get really redundant. I get really, really redundant in talking about what the wounds that I have and the traumas that I have that come from my past. And I'm always like, whenever people get in conversation with me, if I if I talk about if I talk about like a behavior that I have, I will talk about where that comes from. I spend a lot of time trying to identify where everything I do and everything I say and how I accept things or how I take things, where that comes from, because I want it to be abundantly clear that I don't take things that people do in my current life personally just because I have a wound from my past. You know, it's hard for me to accept certain things that people do because of the wounds from my past, but I'm not about to sit here and be like, oh, because thank you, friend. I'm not about to sit here and be like, oh, well, you can't say that to me because oh, not that. Not that. Let me see. I'm trying to think of a specific example without getting too specific about my life. Um, for example, one thing, so some people are cool with making jokes that are like dark humor, right? So my grandmother passed away from breast cancer. If someone were to start making jokes about breast cancer or making crude cancer jokes, Family Guy do stuff like that. Make crude dark humor, crude cancer jokes or whatever. I can't go to that person and be like, you're hurting me by telling those jokes. No, they're not hurting me. Hearing their words and knowing that I have a personal story connected, a personal loss and a personal wound connected to cancer makes it hard for me to hear. But that ain't about them and what they're saying. And this kind of thing is kind of hard because there's so much violence that is in language. Ugh, this is hard. We're just going to talk about regular personal stuff. We're not going to talk about systematic stuff unless he brings it up. If he brings it up, we'll talk about it. I don't remember if he does. Okay. Anyway, let's keep going. Others are going to have their own opinion according to their belief system. So nothing you think about me is really about me, but is about them. You may say, Miguel, what you are saying is hurting me, but it is not what I'm saying that's hurting you. It is that you have wounds that I touch by what I have said. You are hurting yourself. There's no way I can take this personally. Not because I don't believe in you or don't trust you, but because I know that you see the world with different eyes, with your eyes. You create an entire picture of movie in your mind, and in that picture you are the director, you are the producer, you are the main actor or actress, and everyone else is a secondary actor or actress. It is your movie. The way you see that movie is according to the agreements you have made with life. Your point of view is something personal to you. It is no one's truth but yours. Then, if you get mad at me, it is no one's. If you get mad at me, I know you are dealing with yourself. I am the excuse for you to get mad. And you get mad because you are afraid, because you are dealing with fear. If you are not afraid, there is no way you will get mad at me. If you are not afraid, there is no way you will hate me. If you are not afraid, there is no way you will be jealous or sad. If you live without fear, if you love, there is no place for any of those emotions. If you don't feel any of those emotions, it is logical that you will feel good. When you feel good, everything around you is good. When everything around you is great, everything makes you happy. You are loving everything that is around you because you are loving yourself, because you like the way you are, because you are content with you, because you are happy with your life. You are happy with the movie that you are producing, happy with your agreements with life. You are at peace and you are happy. You live in that state of bliss where everything is so wonderful and everything is so beautiful. In that state of bliss, you are making love all the time with everything that you perceive. Before we move on to the next section in this book, we are reading the Four Agreements. We are reading the Four Agreements for those of you that have just joined. Whatever people do, feel, think, or say, don't take it personally. If they tell you how wonderful you are, they are not saying that because of you. You know you are wonderful. It is not necessary to believe other people who tell you that you are wonderful. Don't take anything personally. Even if someone got a gun and shot you in the head, it was nothing personal. Even at that extreme. Listen, listen. When I tell you, y'all, racist people, their beef ain't with us. It's with their own feelings of inadequacy. Bigoted people, their beef ain't. If you're in an oppressed group, the person that oppresses you, the category of people, the demographic of people that oppress you, that show prejudice towards you, that show bigotry towards you, that show hatred towards you, that harm you, that say vile words to you, that go out of their way to make sure that you are not able to be better or catch up with them, their beef ain't with you. It's with them. It's with them. I'd be mad too if I pulled up to a place, a land I never knew, and saw all these people with these beautiful, of different beautiful colors, with vibrant, beautiful skin tones, beautiful bodies of all shapes and sizes, hair that's so different, skilled, self-sufficient, don't need me. And I feel important enough to feel like, I need to insert myself in that. That ain't about you. It was never about us. We ain't do nothing that bad to deserve it. We ain't do nothing to deserve it. It was never about us. It was about them and their own feelings of inadequacy. Keep up. Okay. Even if the opinions you have about yourself, let's see, let's make sure we're in the right place. I think we are. Even if the opinions you have about yourself are not necessarily true, therefore, you don't need to take whatever you hear in your own mind personally. Even the opinion, let me read that again because I want to read it and make sure y'all understand what you're saying. Even the opinions you have about yourself are not necessarily true. Therefore, you do not need to take whatever you hear in your own mind personally. The mind has the ability to talk to itself, but it also has the ability to hear information that is available from other realms. Sometimes you hear a voice in your mind and you may wonder where it came from. This voice may have come from another reality in which there are living beings very similar to the human mind. The Toltecs called these beings allies. In Europe, Africa, India, they called them the gods. Okay? Okay? Spirit, God, whatever you want to call that still small voice that you hear. It ain't your own, you know it's not your voice. You know it's not your thoughts. It's a thought that comes into your mind. All right? Don't take that personally either, because that ain't even about you. Ooh. Our mind also exists in the levels of the gods. Our mind also lives in that reality and can perceive that reality. The mind sees with the eyes and perceives this waking reality. But the mind also sees and perceives without the eyes, although the reason is hardly aware of this perception. The mind lives in more than one dimension. There may be times when you have the ideas that don't originate in your mind, but you are perceiving them with your mind. You have the right to believe or not believe these voices and the right not to take what they say personally. We have a choice whether or not to believe the voices we hear within our own minds, just as we have a choice of what to believe and agree with in the dream of the planet. Now, he's talking about some deep stuff here, y'all. And all I'm going to say is that there have been plenty of times where I've heard somebody talking to me, they ain't here no more. And they want me to do something. It clear as day I can hear them. In the voice that they had when they was here. Clear as day. Saying some presently new things that I didn't think of on my own. And it ain't for me. What you're asking me to do ain't for me. So I will not be carrying that out. What you're telling me that you believe about me, it ain't for me. It don't resonate with me. So I won't be taking that. Take what resonates and leave behind what doesn't. That's how I'm starting to I'm doing my best to try to treat things and treat life. Take what resonates and leave behind what doesn't. Okay. The mind can also talk and listen to itself. The mind is divided as your body is divided. Just as you can say, I have one hand and I can shake my other hand and feel the other hand. The mind can talk to itself. Part of the mind, did I? Yeah, I read that. Yeah, I read that. Part of the mind is speaking and the other part is listening. Is a big problem when 1,000 parts of your mind are all speaking at the same time. This is called a mitote, remember? The mitote can be compared to a huge marketplace where thousands of people are talking and bartering at the same time. Each one has different thoughts and feelings. Each one has a different point of view. The programming in the mind, all of those agreements we have made are not necessarily compatible with each other. Every agreement is like a separate living being and it has its own personality and its own voice. There are conflicting agreements that go against other agreements and on until it becomes a big war in the mind. The mitote is the reason humans hardly know what they want, how they want it, or when they want it. They don't agree with themselves because there are parts of the mind that want one thing and other parts that want the exact opposite. Some parts of the mind, some part of the mind has objections to certain thoughts and actions, and another part supports the actions of the opposing thoughts. All of these little living beings create inner conflict because they are alive and they each have a voice. Only by making an inventory of our agreements will we uncover all of the conflicts in the mind and eventually make order out of the chaos of the mitote. Don't take anything personally, because by taking things personally, you set yourself up to suffer for nothing. For nothing. Humans are addicted to suffering at different levels and to different degrees, and we support each other in maintaining these addictions. Humans agree to help each other suffer. If you have the need to be abused, you will find it easy to be abused by others. Likewise, if you are with people who need to suffer, something in you makes you abuse them. It is as if they have a note on their back that says, "Please kick me." They are asking for justification for their suffering. Their addiction to suffering is nothing but an agreement that is reinforced every day. Whew, I don't want that to go over our heads, and I don't want that to be simplified. I know he's saying it in a very simple way, but I don't want you guys to take it as, oh, like victim blaming, because victim blaming is not what's happening here when he's talking about that. So he's saying if you have a need to be abused, you will find it easy to be abused by others. So let's not even go straight to dramatic, romantic relationships. Say you're during your domestication. Say during your domestication, the way that you were raised was through abusive tactics. It was through things that being put down verbally, being physically hit, being told, hey, look, I'm going to say this one. Y'all ain't going to like it. Y'all ain't going to like it. You're not going to like it. But I think that it actually has a deeper, I think, roasting. We roast each other. We play the dozens. We clown each other. We have sessions. We have whole shows around roasting each other, around taking time to make a person feel loved by saying bad things about them. Mm-hmm. Abuse can look many different ways. Yeah, I've experienced a lot. I've been a person like the person that he's talking about in here. I've been that person that unconsciously sought out abusive relationships because that's what I believed I deserved. That's not easy to cope with and agree with. and understand. But if I am looking for a love that resembles what I grew up with, which unfortunately involved abusive, whether it was intentional or unintentional, the people that I grew up around were perpetuating a cycle of abuse in the way that they handled me and who I grew up with. And then those same cycles, I'm watching them now in the people that I am related to, watching them be perpetuated again. They're perpetuated over and over and over again because there's a belief, unspoken, unsaid, no one will ever fucking admit it, but there's a belief that we deserve the abuse. I mean, the fact that we will look at people's children and be like, they need to get their ass whooped because they're not behaving. Why? That ain't your child. That child is trying to communicate something and they're not being heard or understood. That's it. At the end of the day, that's what's happening. That child is trying to communicate something and they're not being heard and understood. With their limited language and their limited socialization skills, guess what? They're acting out. They're crying. They're flailing their body all over the fucking floor in the middle of the store because they want something and they don't understand why they can't have the thing that they want at the moment. Because their mom or their parent, I'm not even going to gender it, their parent that or their guardian, whoever is with them at the time, cannot sit down and articulate to them right there in that moment, hey sweetheart, the reason that you're not able to have the thing that you say that you want right now is because I don't want to spend the money, did not come here to spend money on that, or whatever the reason is, they can't have the thing. They can't have the thing, and they don't understand why they can't have the thing, because normally whenever they go home, whenever they're at home and they want a thing, they can have the thing. So they're out in public now around these people and they don't understand why I can't have the thing. Now I'm crying because I'm a child. And as far as I know, whenever I want a thing, I can get a thing. Now I'm in the store and I'm crying. Now you, me, someone that has nothing to do with this child, this parent or guardian or whoever the fuck is with them, we looking at them like, they need to beat that child. They need to take that child to the bath. If that was me, if that was my mama, if that was my daddy, if that was my grandma, we would have went to the bathroom and had a conversation. Projecting abuse for what? Because you believe that you deserve the abuse that you got as a child because that's what you were conditioned to believe. You believe that you were okay, that you turned out fine getting your ass whooped, but did you really turn out fine if you are looking at some stranger's child, a child with a wildly undeveloped brain, a brain that is still developing? You look at that child and think they should be getting physically assaulted because they're not being obedient and behaving in the way I believe they should behave because of how I was domesticated and how I was raised. That has nothing to do with you. And yet, child, don't get me started. Don't get me started with these writings on the wall. I love Duran said that. He was like, don't get me started with these writings on the wall, child. But that's what I'm saying. So me, say I finessed my way out of getting whoopings. I politicked my way out because I'm MissTaylorSaid and I'm a sayer of things. So I finessed my way out of whoopings. One of my biggest successes in childhood, honestly. God, I still feel like a genius for doing that. I finessed my way out of whoopings. Gosh, it's after 8th grade, stopped. None of us were fine that got whoopings, pinches, or any other physical punishment. It's so gross how many people think they are. I mean, for real. But like, because of the fact that I thought that abuse was, or many of us think that abuse is okay, right? We think that being told, don't talk unless you're being talked to, don't stay out of grown folks' business, don't do this, don't do that, don't be wearing this, don't be wearing that, like all these don'ts, and all these like, if you do this, and whatever comes after the because of the fact that you were raised to believe that that is what you deserve, you believe it. And then you go out and you seek friends. And you go make friends who also have that domestication. But if one friend me personally, I'm not a confrontational person. I don't like confrontation. I don't like conflict. I don't like arguing with people. I don't like starting stuff. I saw growing up, when you stand up for yourself, there is a physical punishment. If you talk back, which is standing up for yourself. Make no mistake. If you contested what your parents said and were physically punished for it, you were physically assaulted for standing up for yourself. So sorry. So sorry to break that one to y'all. So when I saw that standing up for yourself led to physical assault, because that's what happens, I'm sorry, but not sorry for anybody that's taking this personally, but we are reading the chapter about taking it personally. If you knew better, you would have done better, but now you know, because it's Mike's super short show. It's not, but that's a fun thing to say. But seeing that made me not want to stand up for myself ever. So when I go out into the real, and then being told, if someone hits you, don't hit back. So I'm literally being conditioned to accept abuse and never stand up for myself, because I'm being shown in my home that if you do something out of line, if you do something I don't like, I can hit you. If you try to stand up for yourself, I can hit you. If someone outside of the home hits you, you are going to get in trouble if you hit back. You're going to get in trouble if you hit back. That's how I was raised. I know other people were raised to hit back, but for me, the way I was raised, hello, welcome in. If somebody hits you, you tell the teacher. You tell. You don't hit them back. That's how I was raised. So not only was I being conditioned to accept abuse at home, I was also conditioned to accept abuse at school, because here's the reality of the situation. What's worse than not standing up for yourself when you get hit? Snitching. Snitching. Snitching is far worse than not defending yourself. And so by the socialization that I was getting at home, standing up for yourself is wrong. Go tell. When you get to school, snitching is wrong. Take this ass whooping. So now I have spent years being trained on how to be an abuse victim. So when I pick friends, who do I pick? I pick people I feel like are stronger than me. People I feel like that could take up for me. People I see that stand up for themselves and have more fire, more sureness about themselves. People that have the confidence that I want, that have the aggression that I want, that have the assertion that I want. Those are the friends I seek out. Those are the people that I seek out. Those are also the people I date. I date the people that I feel like are stronger than me. But then what happens? What happens? What happens if you get on the bad side of the person that you feel like is stronger than you, and you already feel like you're not as strong as they are? You feel like you need them because they have a strength that you don't have. What happens? You do what you can to please them. You do what you can to keep them around because they make you feel safe. Because at the end of the day, that's all we want. We just want to feel safe. And if you're someone that is easy to abuse, like me, then you're going to do whatever you can to keep people around that make you feel safe. Because that's another thing. People that are easy to abuse are taught that that to receive love, you must earn it. You must come forward with something that shows me you deserve my love, whether it's acts of service, words of affirmation for that person, gifts, physical affection, showing up for them. Do what you need, do what they want you to do in order to keep the relationship, in order to keep that love. There's no reciprocity there, because the exchange, the agreement is, you're strong for me because I'm not strong enough. And so I'll do whatever I can to keep that safety net around. Whole time, that strong person can turn around and abuse you because you're an easy victim to abuse. Y'all, I know that this is not like easy to hear. It's not easy to say. It's not easy to say because that makes me realize that who I am today at 29 years old, this is the person I needed to be at 21 so I wouldn't have gone through. This is the person I need, real shit. This is the person I needed to be when I was 18 years old and not gone through 2 romantic relationships that were abusive, not gone through a series of friendships that had bullying and abuse in them in order to maintain love. And what happens? What happens when you decide I'm no longer going to accept the abuse? Have you ever broke up with an abusive person before? Have you ever ended things with an abusive person, a person that's abusing you before? How do they act when they realize they can no longer abuse you? They can no longer put those things out on you. They can no longer treat you the way that they like treating you, or is easy to treat you, or helps them get their aggression out. What happens? They get mad. They get mad at you for realizing what you're worth. They get really upset with you for realizing what you're worth. So, anyway, we got some comments going over here. Shannon is in these comments. Yes, sis. Okay. A lot of times those people seek out submissive personalities too, whether it's subconsciously. Yes, whether it's consciously or unconsciously. Yep. They really do. They really do. People that are abusers and bullies and stuff like that, they seek out, they lose their mind. Yes, Stephanie, they lose their fucking mind. Excuse my language. They lose their mind. When they lose access to the person they abuse, they lose their mind because they can no longer have you a part of their dream that they, of this life that they perceive. You're no longer a part of that. You are removing yourself, and therefore that part of their dream that works so perfectly that allows them to continue to be the shitty individual that they are at this moment. And I'm saying shitty individual because that's my perception of them, because of what I endured through, what I accepted from them, because I did not know that I was worth it. I didn't know that I had the voice that I'm using now to stand up for myself, the words that are in my head that I wouldn't say out loud, but they were already in my head, the things I knew. I knew that I didn't deserve the abuse. But how can I sit here and tell someone, and he said this in an earlier chapter, the amount of, if I have a lot of self-hatred, if I don't believe that I'm worth it, if someone just treats me a little bit better than I treat myself, I'll take whatever they give me, and not set my standard high, and not demand that they treat me so much better. And I actually, in fact, will feel guilty if I feel like I set my standard too high. But if someone treats me worse than I treat myself, I won't accept that. You won't accept that. Let me get back into this book. Ooh, because he said, likewise, if you're with people who need to suffer, something in you makes you abuse them. It is as if someone like me comes to you, oh Lord, if somebody like me comes to you, and I am just, I'm a little shy Taylor, and I don't really like to speak up for myself, and I'm shy and I'm nervous, and there's nothing wrong with shyness. There's nothing wrong with shyness. But if I come to you and I'm and I show you that I need you to be strong for me, it is as if I have a note on my back that says, please kick me. As if I'm asking for justification for my suffering. Their addiction to suffering is nothing but an agreement that is reinforced every day. I'm trying not to, girl. I'm trying not to. Got 10 more minutes. If I can get through these 10 minutes without knocking it off, I'm good. All right. I don't think we're going to finish. Oh, we could. Oh, we're going to finish this chapter real quick. Okay, it's perfect timing. Wherever you go, you will find people lying to you. And as your awareness grows, you will notice that you also lie to yourself. Do not expect people to tell you the truth because they also lie to themselves. You have to trust yourself and choose to believe or not to believe what someone says to you. When we really see other people as they are without taking it personally, we can never be hurt by what they say or do. Even if others lie to you, it is okay. They are lying to you because they are afraid. They are lying to you because they are afraid. They are afraid that you will discover that they are not perfect. It is painful to take that social mask off. It is painful to take that social mask off. If others say one thing but do another, you are lying to yourself if you don't listen to their actions. If you are truthful with yourself, you will save yourself a lot of emotional pain. Telling yourself the truth about it may hurt, but you don't need to be attached to the pain. Telling yourself the truth about it may hurt, but you don't need to be attached to the pain. Healing is on the way, and it is just a matter of time before things will be better for you. Please believe that. Please, like I need y'all to know that it like when you're honest with yourself, even if your honesty means like, all right, I'm only at this level right now. I'm down here. It is, and I'm raising it over here on Instagram so they can see me on Facebook. I'm down here. It is just bottom of the barrel for me. That's where I'm at right now. Your journey, it can only go up from that moment if you're honest with yourself. If you're telling the truth to yourself about who you are, where you're at, why you think the way you think, why you believe the things that you believe. And when you're just dead ass honest with yourself, that's the starting point. And then you can build on that. But it starts with the honesty. Child, they need to be preaching out of books like this. Never mind, they gotta write the pastors have to write their own books. Anyway. All right. Where we at? If someone is not treating you with love and respect, it is a gift if they walk away from you. If that person doesn't walk away, you will surely endure many years of suffering with him or her. Walking away may hurt for a while, but your heart will eventually heal. Y'all, child, walk away, leave. They're going to be mad. They're going to be hurt. Leave them anyway. They'll figure it out. You have to find a way to heal, don't you? Because you've been enduring all that pain. You got to find a way to heal too. That just the same amount of time that you're going to take to heal, if they use that time, if they use their time wisely, they'll heal too. Shit. Walk away from them. It can only be like my friend Jaleesa. I don't know if she's still watching, but one thing that she had said it about something, but now I'm like applying this to everything. It is only for your benefit. If you leave somebody that you feel is not treating you right, you leave them alone, regardless of if they're like, oh, I need you in my life, if they have a bad reaction, a good reaction, whatever the reaction is, it is only to your benefit. Because even if it was not the right choice, or you prematurely left, or it really wasn't as bad as you thought, guess what? There was something going on in your mind that you needed to work out and sort out, and that person's presence was a distraction to that. Because either you believed that things weren't as good as they were, or you weren't doing what you needed to do to make sure things were. Either way, you walking away and figuring that out is to your benefit. And theirs too, because they may not need to be present with you while you're figuring out why things ain't completely compatible with them. You don't, you need to work something out. Anyway, let me get back into this book because I want to finish this chapter, okay? If someone is not treating you with love and respect, it is a gift if they walk away from you. If that person doesn't walk away, you will surely endure many years of suffering with him or her. Walking away may hurt for a while, but your heart will eventually heal. Then you can choose what you really want. You will find that you don't need to trust others as much as you need to trust yourself to make the right choices. When you make it a strong habit not to take anything personally, you avoid many upsets in your life. Your anger, jealousy, and envy will disappear, and even your sadness will simply disappear if you don't take things personally. If you can make this second agreement a habit, you will find that nothing can put you back into hell. There is a huge amount of freedom that comes to you when you take nothing personally. You become immune to black magicians, and no spell can affect you regardless of how strong it may be. Protected you stay. The whole world can gossip about you, and if you don't take it personally, you are immune. Someone can intentionally send emotional poison, and if you don't take it personally, you will not eat it. You will not eat it. When you don't take the emotional poison, it becomes even worse in the sender, but not in you. You can see how important this agreement is. Taking nothing personally helps you to break many habits and routines that trap you in the dream of hell and cause needless suffering. Just by practicing the second agreement, you begin to break dozens of teeny tiny agreements that cause you to suffer. And if you practice the first two agreements, you will break 75% of the teeny tiny agreements that keep you trapped in hell. Write this agreement on paper and put it on your refrigerator to remind you all the time. Don't take anything personally. As you make a habit of not taking anything personally, you won't need to place your trust in what others do or say. You will only need to trust yourself to make responsible choices. You are never responsible for the actions of others. You are only responsible for you. When you truly understand this and refuse to take things personally, you can hardly be hurt by the careless comments or actions of others. If you keep this agreement, excuse me, you can travel around the world with your heart completely open and no one can hurt you. You can say, I love you without fear of being ridiculed or rejected. You can ask for what you need. You can say yes or you can say no, whatever you choose, without guilt or self judgment. You can choose to follow your heart always. Then you can be in the middle of hell and still experience inner peace and happiness. You can stay in your state of bliss and hell will not affect you at all. Y'all, Miguel had a word. Don Miguel had a word. Um, when he's talking about breaking those teeny tiny agreements and becoming stronger, having a stronger sense of self. One thing that I saw with my not visible eye this year was that, or last year, was that the liberation, our liberation, you know, is not going to come from some leader. If y'all waiting on a leader to come through and help y'all and help us, it ain't happening. Because I really don't want this to be taken the wrong way. I don't want this to be taken the wrong way. Um, and honestly, this comes from the belief system of someone like Ella Josephine Baker. It is more important to strengthen who you are. Do the things. Oh gosh, how do I want to say this? I'm just gonna say it. It's more important for you to strengthen yourself mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. It's more important for you to do that. It's more important for you to do that than to wait on some leader or somebody to tell you to do it. Because the thing with leaders, with a Moses figure, with a Jesus, a Messiah type figure, with a leader, is that what happens if they die? They always do. What happens if they die? What happens if they change their mind? What happens if they change their mind? I mean, shit. Look at Kanye. He changed his mind on us. Oh, he that one that you just named. I ain't even gonna say his name. That one that you just named, Shannon. He is nothing. He is not. There's a Twitter account called No Context His Name, and it's hilarious because broken clock that's right twice a day. People that are in the leadership position are great deposits of information, but when everything becomes about that leader or about just waiting on somebody to come through and save, and like I said, Kanye was someone we saw as a leader ish, He was bold. He was unafraid, unapologetic to say the things that we all believed and we all felt. And we loved that shit, you know? But when he changed up and he changed his mind, guess what? We were stuck with, oh my God, what are we going to do? Not that we actually were, but there were some people that were like, what are we going to do now that Kanye is not available to us to save us, to make the music, to say the things, to be the bold voice, to say George Bush don't care about black people on on live TV, and to go up and say, yo, these black artists deserve these awards and blah, blah, blah. Who's going to do it now? You should. Yo, what's stopping each individual from being so sure of themselves that they are unapologetic and they're fearless and they're willing to go up and say, yo, this ain't right? Why we gotta wait on a person? Why we gotta wait on a figurehead so that we don't have to take the responsibility if shit goes left? Is that what it is? Your liberation ain't about to come from no leader. It ain't. Your freedom ain't coming from no leader. Hell, when people that were enslaved in this country, when they were getting up out of here and not getting up out of here, but the road to freedom, that wasn't no white people coming through and saying, oh, I guess you guys are free now. I guess you guys deserve to be free. It won't no individual. It's not like Frederick Douglass and Harriet Tubman were the only two abolitionists out there that was like, oh, let's get these people to freedom. And everybody had to just sit and twiddle their thumbs and wait. No, it won't that. It was a bunch of individual people that said, fuck it, I'ma do it. It was a bunch of individual people that came up with different ways that worked for them to fight for their liberation, to fight for their freedom. Some did it with violence, some did it with education, some did it through cunning things like mailing themselves up north. Some people went to the military and we're like, well, if I'm gonna get freedom, I'm gonna get it because I'm fighting for it. I'm fighting in the military for it or with the Union Army. Some people did it by just, I'm gonna take the chance, I'm gonna take the risk, and if I die, I die. Go. It was different ways and so many different strategic, beautiful ways. But the people that did it, the people that said, I no longer accept the conditions that I'm in, I need to get out, I need something better. Those people came up with a way that worked for them. And if they made it to freedom, it worked. If they died on their way trying to get to it, damn it, it worked. As painful as it is to say it worked, they still ended up living. They still ended up dying, fighting to try their best to no longer be in the shackles of bondage. And if you gotta die to be yourself, die, bro. Like, and I know that sounds terrible. But is that not worth it? Is it not worth it? Is the shame that you may experience from others, and I'm talking to myself too, because I have so many fears and so many anxieties and so many things I'm scared of. But like, our liberation is going to come from, and I'm going over an hour at this point, but our liberation is going to come from each of us investing in ourselves. Fuck money. I mean, like, money is a survival mechanism. Acquiring a lot of money is a means of survival. But you growing and becoming who you are and learning to be yourself as authentically as you possibly can is going to be your liberation. Because guess what happens when you decide to be yourself? You create community with other people that have made the same decision. I'm creating me deciding to be myself right now. Me deciding to do this thing that others may think is stupid and foolish and embarrassing. Getting on live, reading books, and I be fucking up when I read. And we used to get picked on for that in school and all that stuff. Me coming up here, hell, to somebody, me wearing this might look fucking crazy. In my cheap apartment with my white refrigerator. You know what I'm saying? But because I'm like, I'll eat that shame. If somebody tries to shame me, I'll eat that. But through that, what have I done? I've created community. There are people that watch me, and I'm thankful for every single one of y'all. And if you haven't already liked my page, Miss Taylor Said on Facebook, I am like 25 likes away from 200 likes. Go like it if you so choose. I ain't about to force nothing on nobody, but if you so choose, go ahead. But it's like me doing that, I'm creating community with like-minded individuals. By creating community with like-minded individuals who have all made the same decision that I've made, and their decision is compatible with my decision, guess what we can do? We can build together. We can have these conversations. We can heal together. We can learn how to do things like garden, and we can share skills with each other. We can share resources with each other. We can build community and become stronger and get our freedom that way. What that freedom looks like, I don't know what that freedom looks like all the way. I don't know what the end or the end game, what the promised land looks like in a capitalistic society, but we can create something that works for us, that makes us feel free. That's more important than me waiting on some person to get on TV and do the church tour and go and listen to their speeches and feel good for the performative moment and hope that they go out and do the work that I'm not willing to do. It's better for us to do it as individuals and find those that want to do the same thing that we're doing. Y'all, this has been a great episode. Sarante is in. Yo, I ain't seen Sarante in my comments in like a week. Dog, you gonna show up at an hour, 6 minutes. I ain't seen you in a week, dog. I'm kidding. I'm sorry to call you out like that. It's just I'm happy to see you. Showing people the real you and those that bond and relate to you builds the foundation we want. Remember what, listen, it may have been based on racist tropes, but remember in hold on. I'm gonna do this. I want to do a visual. Hold on, really fast. Right. So y'all remember, I can't remember the exact quote. It's the last thing I'm gonna say. I'm gonna get up out of here. Can't remember the exact quote. But you remember in Planet of the Apes, when he was like one ape breaks easily. All apes together, I could break that. But together, we're stronger. But you have to be a whole person first. You can't come into the situation broken. You got to be whole first before you come together with the others so that we can be strong together. All right? Now let that be the message. Don't take anything personally. The first agreement, be impeccable with your word. The second agreement, don't take anything personally. And tomorrow, don't make assumptions. All right, y'all. I hope that y'all have a lovely, lovely night. Thank you for watching Reading with Miss Taylor Said. If you have not seen the previous episodes for this book, they're up on the last like 2 or 3 episodes. I think the last 3 episodes before this one will get you caught up on the book. If you missed the previous book, baby, link in the bio. Go look up Reading with Miss Taylor Said on Facebook. And you'll be able to catch up on all those episodes on my IGTV and my Facebook page. I appreciate y'all being here today, and I hope that you have a lovely, lovely evening. I'll see y'all tomorrow at 6. Bye.